Our coverage from Radio Row here in Las Vegas, Nevada, ahead of Super Bowl 58 rolls on, and Sarah and I are pleased to be joined by former Ravens linebacker C.J. Mosley, and figured it'd be a great time to revisit things. Obviously, your career is on the upward trajectory as it has been since you came into the league in 2014. One more year under contract in New York, right? Congratulations on everything that's come. I was not covering the Ravens when you came into the league, but been a big fan for a long time since your Alabama days. I know Sarah feels the same way, and good to kind of have you back on to say hello to Baltimore. It's been a minute.
What's up, B-More? Come back every year, but I still miss y'all guys.
Yeah. So what has your tenure, would you say, been? How would you describe it in New York since leaving Baltimore overall?
Oh, man, it's been an experience. You know, I just say for like any athlete, once you sign a contract or, you know, you think you're about to take those next steps, two of the things that you don't want is obviously having an injury. Once you're making money, you don't want to get hurt because you just know how that goes.
Yep.
And two, well, for me, the second thing was I don't want to have to deal with a coaching change. Like I never really had to deal with that process before.
Right.
And lucky for me, I got both of those, and the pandemic happened, so I opted out. So
I remember that.
That's three things in my first 2 years. So now I'm in a unique position where like my job could potentially be on the line because now I got a new coaching staff, a new system. You know, I'm in my Baltimore body, so I'm not. So they questioning like, all right, let's see what he got. So for me, you know, coming back from the injury, from COVID, all that stuff, for me, you know, that 21 year was me like proving like, nah, this like I am who I am. Like nothing can change like, you know, what I do because that's the work that I put in. And from that point on, it was just me like really learning the system, understanding what the offense was trying to do, attack it, and just becoming a better leader every day. And I had a lot of adversity that's hit our team and, you know, our building. And I take everything that I learned from Alabama and being in Baltimore and learning from all the future Hall of Famers and great players and coaches that came from Baltimore while I was there. Like everything I learned from those two organizations, through the coaches all the way down to, you know, my veterans and leadership. Like that's what I brought to New York. So I feel like everything's happened for a reason, and, you know, I feel like we are in the spot that we need to be to start moving forward.
The other thing that's been difficult, although it's on the opposite side, is there's been so much quarterback turnover and injuries there, and so that puts even more pressure on the defense. But do you see that as a moment to kind of just step up and shine while, you know, it may be a little bit more rough on the other side of the ball?
Yeah, well, you know, like I said, Alabama, Baltimore, and now New York, like defense has always been the first step. So you know, whether the offense was struggling or doing half good or decent, like it was always on the defense, and that's just the pride that we had in our room. And that's credit to our coaches and also to the players that have been put in those positions. But at the end of the day, you know, that's what we want. You know, we want to have that pressure on us. We want to be able to get our team out of tough positions because that's what they need. Like sometimes we want to be able to start as fast on defense. We're going to need a little bit of help from the offense or the special teams. But at the end of the day, when it's time to go, like the defense has to make a stop, whether it's you're the last guy to stop them from scoring or you got to get the ball back for the offense to score. So it's going to always be on the defense.
Absolutely.
You take a lot of pride in your craft. I'm sure you've had a chance to watch some film on Roquan.
Oh yeah. So last year was the first time I actually like met him at the Pro Bowl. So I talked to him for a little bit. We hung out. So it was really cool to see because it like kind of reminded. I kind of like saw like a younger me like over there, like him and Mark Andrews was hanging out and like having fun. Like I remember those days.
Yeah.
Right? Good stuff. Good stuff.
Now you've been like 5 times, right?
Yeah. So, no, just to see his game because I watched him play when he was in Chicago as well. But now that he's in Baltimore and in the AFC, I got to see his film a lot more, especially like just watching other offenses. So I mean, high motor. I would say obviously the biggest difference. He talked a lot more on the field than I ever did. So just like when he's mic'd up, like I listen. It's cool to watch, man. He talk his stuff, but he backing it up and he comes to knock you out, and that's exactly what Baltimore defense and linebackers are about. Yeah. So he's built for that position.
I think you can also speak from your unique perspective of the expectation when you get drafted in Baltimore at that position. What comes with it?
It's the Ray Lewis comparisons,
that and the special teams. So especially like when I was like, that's the group that I was with. Like we had our veteran linebackers, but everybody else, they were playing defense and special team. And you think about Zach Gore, so shout out to him. We came in the same year as linebackers, and he took his.
Damn, that's I didn't even think about that. That's crazy.
He took a starting spot. He came undrafted, He worked his way up, and you know, unfortunately, you know, he found out about the neck injury, and you know, his work ethic is like the reason where he's at now. You think about Coach McDonald, you know, that our first year, 14, that was his first time in the linebacker room with under Coach Wink. So, like that's what make that organization special. Like it's a real family. So people really grow.
That's so crazy.
They come into the organization. You know, you do the right things and, you know, do your job, and, you know, don't be a bad person outside off the field. Like they're gonna do right by you. So, yeah.
We were just saying that, like, if Zach's career hadn't been cut short, he'd still be playing just like you.
Yeah.
You guys are the same age, right?
Yeah. So,
could you imagine being a defensive coordinator right now?
31. That's wild.
That's wild. He's on his way to being a head coach.
Yeah.
Like, that's
Shoot,
bananas.
could be in Baltimore in a few years. You never know.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
you know, you think about like I said, I keep up my business partner / best friend. Like he's from Baltimore. Like I got a lot of great friends and memories in Baltimore. So like you think about Big Herb, think about Pierce. Like, you know, all those guys I played with.
Yeah.
Like to see them come back and, you know, still be balling. Obviously, you know, Lamar's been balling. So watching him come in from his first year, and everybody like criticizing him and like what he's going to be now. You got two of them. You got two MVPs. So just to see those, like kind of my last group of guys, like take off and, you know, now it's their team. It's cool to see. So
that reminds me, I was going to ask you. So your last year was with Lamar. He really only got to start the second half of the season.
Yeah.
When you see him and you're playing on the other side of him, even as a rookie, could you imagine a two-time? We were just saying, anybody that's won the MVP multiple times, if they're eligible, they're in the Hall of Fame. So he's like, could you even imagine that when you saw him with just that first year?
Yeah, I mean,
you could.
You look at the highlights coming out of college, and, you know, everybody saw him. I remember I was in Fed at Wayward when we picked him. I was like, "Oh snap, we got Lamar!" Like, yeah, we about to go crazy. You know, obviously we still had Joe, and, you know, that season it was like up and down, and all this stuff happened. But like I said, man, everything happened for a reason. You know, Joe got his flowers, and, you know, Lamar is taking over and doing this thing. So it's been cool to see.
And now years later, they're hanging out at the NFL honors backstage. Like, what is happening right now?
Player of the year.
Talk about full circle.
Ozzie knows what he's doing. He got CJ, and then he got two quarterbacks that are just stealing the show last night.
You know, he loves his Bama boys.
Yeah, he does.
You better believe that. What was the reaction that night at Wayward when they went up and got him?
I was excited. I mean, it was different. And I felt like it's not really a Baltimore move. Like, we're not used to making those type of moves. That was a big splash move. So I would say it's worked out so far. Now
that you've been elsewhere for a hefty amount of time at this point, I feel like you can speak well to the brotherhood, the way that the NFL brotherhood views Lamar. It seems as if it's a universal agreement that it's based on respect, admiration maybe, but it just seems like that's felt by everybody.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, especially when we're just talking about players' craft, like on the field, or athlete, like off the field, you can't pull anything up, so that's always a plus. But on the field, like what has he done besides be a great teammate and try to, you know, put his team in the best position possible? So I mean, it's hard to try to knock him. It's easy to, you know, to throw losses in there because that's really the only definitive thing when you're trying to say if somebody's good or not. If it's just a Super Bowl that he needs to solidify him, then it's going to come at some point.
Oh, it's coming.
Hopefully the New York Jets or whoever I'm with will win it before that. But other than that, man, he's grown. He's become a leader. You know, he's been representing himself like with his mother, I believe. So just like anybody that has like that family net, and then on top of that, they're a good person and like doing the right things, and, you know, wants that leadership from his teammates, and like he wants that pressure. He wants everything on him to, you know, try to make everybody better. Then like, why not try to keep pushing that person to lift him up to make everybody better?
Yeah. Okay. So CJ, hear me out on something here. Okay, hear me out. I'm gonna put something out there. Okay.
All right.
Well, listen, it was bittersweet for us when you got your big deal with the Jets. You earned it. So of course we're always happy. We want everybody to be able to go out, make money for their family, take care of their business. We also missed you. Okay. And now, all these years later, the same thing's about to happen for Patrick Queen, right? We're going to be happy for him, but it's going to be bittersweet to have him next to Roquan. You got 1 year left. Wish you the best with the Jets. But after 1 year, you and Roquan, on the other side of Lamar, how do we feel about that? Let me put that out there.
I mean, I haven't thought about it. I mean, like it's just like fantasy football. Like it sounds cool, but
Yeah.
like I said, everything happened for a reason. I left while I left. You know, I don't have no ill will towards anybody from the organization. Like I said,
Sure.
it's been all respect and love from day one. But this guy named Quincy Williams, great linebacker, and I have an obligation as a football player and as a leader to my teammates. So
I love that.
yeah, long as our coaches and everybody wants me with the Jets, and then that's where I'm gonna be. So
good for you.
So that's my plan. That's the goal. Obviously when I signed with New York, like I wanted to bring that championship DNA that I learned from both places that I've been, and bring it to New York, and do something special. So that's still what my mindset, my dreams, and vision is. So until those things change, that's
what it is. Yeah. I like that mindset.
Appreciate it.
What do you remember about your first run through free agency?
It was kind of weird. Kind of felt like I was kind of getting recruited, but like I kind of had the option to go where I wanted to. But yeah, it was just a waiting game. It felt a little weird because for a second I kind of felt unwanted because I was like, what else do y'all want me to do? Like 5 years, this and that, like played through the injuries, like I did everything. So when you don't have that signing like before the season or the fourth year, they was talking about like the player option. So like once those things, that fifth year option, like so when you plan on that option, and then I messed up my knee, had a really good bone bruise, like I think week 2 or 3 against Cincinnati, and so now I'm on a fifth year option, and I'm hurt like the beginning of the season. So now I'm like this now it's like this the business part is setting in my mind. So like just to have that clarity, like knowing like you're good, you don't have to worry about talking about after the end of the season about all this other stuff that you really don't care about. You just want to play with your brothers. I think that's give people more, like teammates and players, more clarity. But it is a business, and been in this league long enough, I definitely seen it, felt it, and seen how it works. So at the end of the day, you have to control what you control, and that's obviously trying to stay healthy, but just doing the right things on and off the field.
It can be hard to separate the two, I would imagine.
Oh, yeah.
And the reason why I kind of asked this question was because we had Orlando Brown Jr. on yesterday. Very different situations in what led to both your departures from Baltimore. But he made it. He did not mince his words with us. He said, "Look, it was personal to him."
Yeah.
Now, granted, again, very different situations, especially with his father, the legacy that he left behind, of course, in Baltimore and whatnot. But I do wonder, and based on what you just said, with just related to the feeling unwanted. How do you think the Ravens front office kind of handled it? I mean, did you feel like it was touch and go, or?
I would honestly say I feel like they could have reached out more, but also I could have reached out more to try to like figure out what's going on. But at that time, that was more like, well, if we at this point now, like I'm gonna just leave it like for my agent to handle. Mm-hmm. So if I can go back, I would have 100% called Ozzie, like, what the hell is going on? Why I'm not a lifetime Raven already? So, But like I said, man, everything happens for a reason, and I have no ill will towards like what happened or why I didn't sign back, whatever. Like we both made our decisions, and wish nothing but the best for our organization, and hopefully we can bring that title to New York. So,
love it.
One quick question before we wrap up here, but you mentioned Ozzie, Alabama, Nick Saban. Retiring. What are your thoughts on that and what that program will look like going forward?
I'm excited to see. I mean, Coach Saban was a generational change for the state of Alabama, let alone the university. So all those players that he helped mold or implemented the blueprint of the process, and some of those players are at different places, but a lot of them are still back at the school and coaching. So now, like everything that he's laid down, like he finally get to see it just really prosper.
Move forward.
Because even all the NFL players that from Alabama that have been playing, like he never sees or watches those guys play because he's just always so busy. So hopefully now, even though he's like on the analyst side, but he can like sit back and just really see.
Soak it in.
It's a lot of people that's been under him that's gone places on and off the field. So He's always, try to be the right person and be a family person and put people in the right position. So I always appreciate it for that.
Awesome.
CJ, I think I speak for all of Fed Hill when I say it misses you. Downtown Baltimore misses you, man.
So wayward.
This guy has some fun down there for sure. You're here repping Seat Club, the only place to buy tickets with no fees and no markups, up 35% savings. Every ticket we sell is at our cost. Join the club. Quit the fees, seatclub.com to learn more. Anything else you want to add in there?
I'd like to add, just a quick insight. So C Club is subscription-based ticket sales. So it's $99 a year. You subscribe once. But if you add the promo code CJ, you get 57% off. So 57 being my number, 57% off, promo code CJ. So you think about Ticketmaster, all the StubHub, they make their money off fees. So,
they
at
do.
the big game, you want to get 1 or 2 tickets, already pricey, but now you're paying, 30% more. These fees, let's say it's $100. Now you're like, oh, I got a cheap ticket. You get to the payment is like $200 something. Like, where all this come from? So you subscribe to C Club, they only get paid from a subscription. So once you find your ticket, whether it's a football game, basketball, like anything with a venue, it's just like Ticketmaster. So same difference. So you buy your ticket and it's just that price.
Beautiful.
Yep.
Beautiful. You sold,
Excellent.
you sold us there.
Let's do it.
Sure.
If it's simple, it should be good to do.
Seatclub.com. CJ Mosley, appreciate you saying hello to Baltimore again,
Thank
my
you,
man.
CJ. Good to see you
Thanks
again.
so much. And coverage here from Super Bowl 58 on Radio Row continues. Big thanks to CJ. Enjoy the game, guys.